What up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Urban Exegesis, interpreting the culture through the lens of scripture. My name is Dr. D, and I first of all want to give a special shout out to Jay Quan and the foundation. This video is basically courtesy of Jay Quan and the foundation. I'm going to leave a link in the description to his channel, a great hip-hop historian, and so the information is directly from him and his channel and his interview with Grandmaster Melly Mel. And so we have been in these discussions with when do Flash and the three MCs come about. And so now the new narrative is that they don't come about until 75, 76, when the actual narrative is more like 76, 77. Have to remember Melly Mel and Scorpio are B-boys during 76 and 77, but they're also, him and his brother Creole are also practicing during 76 and 77, and then they eventually connect with Cowboy during that time, 76, 77, and then the rest is history. But I'm going to let you hear the interview for yourself and hear it from the words of Melly Mel himself. Enjoy. Grace and peace.
So let's get right into it, my brother. The first question I want to ask you, and I want the people to know, because overwhelmingly, when I interview MCs, especially MCs from the first 10 or so years of this art form, they always talk about you being an inspiration, and people like Hollywood, Coca Rock, maybe Love Buzz Starsky. Those are names that are thrown around very often, but you being credited as one of the very first MCs, if not the first MC. Who was your inspiration? Who did you see do this and you said, I want to do that?
Well, of course, it was Kool Herc's crew. And in that crew, it was Kool Herc, it was Coke Rock. I didn't know traditionally that Coke wasn't a DJ, like he just talked on the mic. I didn't know that, but I just recently, maybe the last couple of years. And then he had Timmy Tim and Clark Kent. It was Timmy Tim that was my favorite, like the way his voice was.
So rhyme-wise, Timmy Tim and Coca Rock and those guys, what they were saying on the mic, were they saying 16-bar rhymes, or they were just saying kind of nursery rhyme sentences, and were they on the beat?
No, they were saying like maybe 1 or 2 bar phrases, you know what I mean? Like nothing on beat. It was like heavy echo chamber, so it was like real trippy, but but his system was so good and it sounds so clear. Like it was almost like, it's like he opened up another dimension of sound, would sound like that, because everybody had the turntable or record player. Wasn't even a turn; it was a record player at home, and you listen to music. Mm-hmm. We all listen to music, but nobody never, before Kool Herc, nobody never had, a powerful sound system like, thump and bass. Like he originated all that. And the mic was crystal clear with the echo. Like I said, it was like almost like you stepped into another dimension, because everything was always, rock, T. You know what I mean? Like real trippy. Like he was literally like he was in another dimension. And then he had all the joints. He had, Apache, all the joints, a Mexican, Babe Ruth. He had, it was just, another world, the difference between Kool Herc and anything else that was happening back then, it was a whole nother world. The rhymes in the traditional hip hop DJ didn't come till we got with Flash, because he didn't talk on the mic. He has a weird voice. I guess it got better now, but he had that kind of voice like he wouldn't talk. So his mic would just be there, and we would just, Cowboy would pick up the mic, I would pick up the mic, my brother would pick up the mic. And then we started, trying to put the routines and all that together, and then everything happened after that. But until then, it was like, DJs just, especially hip hop B-boy DJ, they would just say things. It was no rhymes involved. It was just, like they would say, make statements, like these 1 and 2 bar phrases and shit. We was actually B-boys before we was rapping. I was a Cree wasn't as good, but he tried to B-boy, and he used to do graffiti a little bit, but I was a B-boy. And then once we started getting into the MCing aspect of it, or what would become MCing, that's when we started polishing up. We started polishing the whole act up. With the back and forths and all the routines, and me and Creole would practice, and and then we would go to the jams, and Cowboy would do his thing rocking, and then me and Cree had the segment where we do the back and forth routines, and then it just elaborated from there.
That's perfect, because my next question was, I know you used to be a b-boy. I think you said your name of your group was the D Squad, I believe.
Right, the D Squad. It was me, Scorp when he was Mr. Ness, and we had the brother Fuji. He was with us.
And we're talking long before any rap records, anything. We talking late 70s, 76,
yeah,
77.
This is 76, 77. Yeah.
Now, I'm just trying to establish a timeline. I remember Flash telling me basically what you said. He said he tried to speak on the mic, but he said he didn't like his speaking voice. So his mic was just there for announcements. Keith Cowboy comes in, his specialty is crowd response, and like you said, rhyming off the top. But they are there first as a fixture, Flash and Cowboy. How do you and Creole hook up with Flash and Cowboy? You just happen to go to one of their parties. How does that relationship come to make you the 3M Flash and the 3MCs?
Well, we was already b-boying, and then me and Creole had polished up our little routines all the while Cowboy was the main guy. So we already had routines, but nobody never heard them because we never did it. And then one party we just did the routine. And everybody was like, because they never heard nothing like that, as far as just, two guys, kicking it back and forth. And that's when it started. It's like when we started doing our very first parties under the Black Door Productions with Ray Chandler. And that's what we was first built as, Grandmaster Flash and the 3MCs.
Now, when you talked about Flash and the 3MCs, I was looking the other day, a brother, I think it's Pete Nice, that used to be with Third Base. He has a huge collection of flyers. He had a flyer from 1977, and it had you on there. What was that? The first year you started around the 77? Around there?
Around like the end of 76. Like I really started being hanging out around the summer of 76. And then it got official, like as far as with flashing them in the summer of 77. That was the year of the blackout, and that would happen in the summertime. And then after that, then I was officially, a part of the Flash and the 3MCs.